Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Guruji.
Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritcham Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayet. Nashta Prayeshva Badhresh Nityam Bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः हरिः ओम श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14. The story of King Vena. Maitre Vacha Bhrugu Padayaste Munayo Lokanam Ksemadarshina Goptair Asati Vainunam Pasyantah Pashu Samyatam. The great sage Maitreya continued, O great hero Vidura, the great sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of the welfare of the people in general. When they saw that in the absence of King Anga there was no one to protect the interests of the people, they understood that without a ruler, the people would become independent and non regulated. वीरमातरम् आहूय सुनीतां ब्रह्मवादिनः प्रकृति असम्मतं वेणम् अभ्यषिञ्चन् पतिं भुवः. The great sages then called for the queen mother Sunita, and with her permission they installed Vena on the throne as master of the world. All the ministers, however, disagreed with this. श्रुत्वा नृपासनगतं वेनम् अत्युग्रः शासनं निलील्योर्दस्य वः सद्य सर्पसृष्टा इवाकवः. Vibhav. It was already known that Vena was very severe and cruel. Therefore, as soon as all the thieves and rogues in the state heard of his ascendance to the royal throne, they became very much afraid of him. Indeed, they hid themselves here and there as rats hide themselves from snakes. सारूढनृपस्थान उन्नदा उन्नदोऽष्ट विभूतिभिः अवमेने महाभागान् स्तम्भः सम्भवा स्तम्भसम्भावितस्वतः. When the king ascended to the throne, he became all powerful with 8 kinds of opulences. Consequently, he became too proud by virtue of his false prestige. He considered himself to be greater than anyone. Thus, he began to insult great personalities. Evam madanda uktishto nirankusha iva dvipaha paryantan ratham asthaya kampayan iva rodasi. When he became overly blind due to his opulences, King Vena mounted a chariot and, like an uncontrolled elephant, began to travel through the kingdom, causing the sky and earth to tremble wherever he went. Na yashtavya na dantavya na hotavya dvija kvachet itinyavaradhyad dharmam Bheri Ghoshena Sarvashaha. All the twice born Brahmanas were forbidden henceforward to perform any sacrifice, and they were also forbidden to give charity or offer clarified butter. Thus, King Vena sounded kettle drums throughout the countrysides. In other words, he stopped all kinds of religious rituals. वेनस्यावेक्ष्य मुनयो दुर्वृत्तस्य विचेष्टितं विमृश्य लोकव्यसनं कृपयोचुः स्म सत्रिणः. Therefore, all the great sages assembled together and, after observing cruel Vena's atrocities, concluded that a great danger and catastrophe was approaching the people of the world. Thus, out of compassion, they began to talk amongst themselves, for they themselves were the performers of the sacrifice. अहो भयतः प्राप्तं लोकस्य व्यसनं महत् दारुण्य उभयतो दीप्ते इव तस्कर पालयोः. When the great sages consulted one another, they saw that the people were in a dangerous position from both directions. When a fire blazes on both ends of a log, the ants in the middle are in a very dangerous situation. Similarly, at that time, the people in general were in a dangerous position due to an irresponsible king on one side and the thieves and rogues on the other. अराजकः भयाद् एष कृतो राजा तत् अर्हणः ततोऽप्यासीद् भयं त्व अद्य कथं स्यात् स्वस्ति देहिनाम्. Thinking to save the state from irregularity, the sages began to consider that it was due to a political crisis that they made Vena king, although he was not qualified. But alas, now the people were being disturbed by the king himself. Under such circumstances, how could the people be happy? अहेर अहेरिव पयः पोषः पोषकस्यापि अनर्थ भृत् वेनः वेनः प्रकृत्यैव खलः सुनीता गर्भसम्भवः. The sages began to think within themselves, because he was born from the womb of Sunita, King Vena is by nature very mischievous. Supporting this mischievous king is exactly like maintaining a snake with milk. Now he has become a source of all difficulties. निरूपितः प्रजापालः सजिगाम सजि sorry सजिघांसति वै प्रजाः तथापि शान्तव्ये मामुं नास्य मां तत् पातकं स्पृशेत्. We appointed this Vena king of the state in order to give protection to the citizens, but now he has become the enemy of the citizens. Despite all these discrepancies, we should at once try to pacify him. By doing so, we may not be touched by the sinful reaction results caused by him. Tad vid tad yeah, tad vidvabdhir asad vritto venosmabhih kruto nrupaha shantvito yadno vacham na grihishyati adharmakrit lokadikkara sandagdham dahishyama swatejasah tejasa. The saintly sages continued thinking, of course, we were completely aware of his mischievous nature, yet we nevertheless enthroned Vena. If we cannot persuade King Vena to accept our advice, he will be condemned by the public and we will join them. Thus, by our prowess, we shall burn him to ashes. एवम् अध्यवसायैनं मुनयो गूढमन्यवः उपव्रज्याब्रुवन् वेनं शान्त सान्त्वयित्वा च सामभिः. The great sages, having thus decided, approached King Vena. Concealing their real anger, they pacified him with sweet words and then spoke as follows. मुनया ऊचुः नृपवर्य निबोधैतद् यत्ते विज्ञापयाम भोः आयुः श्रीबलकीर्तीनां तव तात vivardanam. The great sages said, my dear king, we have come to give you good advice. Kindly hear us with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life and your opulence, strength and reputation will increase. धर्माचरितः पुंसां वान्मनः कायबुद्धिभिः लोकान् विशोकान् वितरति अथानन्त्यम् असङ्गिनाम्. Those who live according to the religious principles and who follow them by words, mind, body, and intelligence are elevated to the heavenly kingdom, which is devoid of all miseries. Being thus rid of the material influence, they achieve unlimited happiness in life. सतेमा विनशेद्वीरा प्रजानां क्षेमलक्षणः यस्मिन् विनस्ते विनष्टे नृपतिर् ऐश्वर्याद् avarohati. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. राजन् असाध्व अमात्येभ्यश्चोरादिभ्यः प्रजा नृपः रक्षन् यथा बलिं गृह्णन् इह प्रेत्य च मोदते. The saintly persons continued, when the king protects the citizens from the disturbances of mischievous ministers as well as from their thieves and rogues, he can, by virtue of such pious activities, accept taxes given by his subjects. Thus, a pious king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. यस्य राष्ट्रे पुरे चैव भगवान् यज्ञपूरुषः युज्यते स्वेन धर्मेण जनैर्वर्णाश्रमान्वितः वर्णाश्रमान्वितैः. The king is supposed to be pious in whose state and cities the general populace strictly observes the system of eight social orders of Varna and Ashrama, and where all the citizens engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their particular occupations. तस्य राज्ञो महाभागा भगवान् भूतभावनः परितुष्यन्ति विश्वात्मा तिष्ठतो निज शासने. O noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation and the super soul within everyone, is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. तस्मिन् तुष्टे किम् अप्राप्यं जगताम् ईश्वरेश्वरे लोकः सपाल हि एतस्मै हरन्ति बलिम् आदृताः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the great demigods who are controllers of the universal affairs. When he is satisfied, nothing is impossible to achieve. For this reason, all the demigods, preceding deities of different planets, as well as the inhabitants of their planets, take great pleasure in offering all kinds of paraphernalia for his worship. तं सर्वलोकामरयज्ञसङ्ग्रहं त्रयीमयं द्रव्यमयं तपोमयं यज्ञैर्विचित्रैर्यजतो भवाय ते राजन् स्वदेशान् अनुरोधुम् अर्हसि. Great King, sorry, dear King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with the predominating deities, is the enjoyer of results of all sacrifices in all planets. The Supreme Lord is the sum total of the three Vedas, the owner of everything, and the ultimate goal of all austerity. Therefore, your countrymen should engage in performing various sacrifices for your elevation. Indeed, you should always direct them towards the offering of sacrifices. यज्ञेन युष्मद्विषये द्विजातिभिर्वितायमानेन सुराकलाहरे स्विष्टाः सुतष्टा प्रदिशन्ति वाञ्छितं तद्देलनं तद्धेलनं नार्हसि वीरचेष्टितुम्. When all the Brahmanas engage in performing sacrifices in your kingdom, all the demigods who are plenary expansions of the Lord will be very pleased, very much satisfied by their activities and will give you your desired result. Therefore, O hero, do not stop the sacrificial performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. Vena uvacha बालिशा बत यूयं वा अधर्मे धर्ममानिना ये वृत्तिदं पतिं हित्वा जारं patiम् upasate. King Vena replied, You are not at all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting it as religious. Indeed, I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you and are searching after some paramour to worship. अवजानन्ति अमी मूढ़ा नृपारूपणं रूपिणम् ईश्वरं नानुविन्दन्ति ते भद्रम् इह लोके परत्र च. Those who, out of gross ignorance, do not worship the King, who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, experience happiness neither in this world nor in the world after death. को यज्ञपुरुषो नाम यत्र वा भक्तिरीदृशी भर्तृस्नेहविदुराणां यथा जारे कुयोषिताम्. You are so much devoted to the demigods, but who are they? Indeed, your affection for these demigods is exactly like affection of an unchaste woman who neglects her married life and gives all attention to her paramour. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Already there are so many things to cover. Okay, let's begin. So, so this chapter already is starting. This is the story of Vena, or to know who is this Vena, son of Anga, and even Anga got hopeless to transform his son, and his son, yeah, was all cruel, torturing animals, innocent animals like deers, and torturing fellow boys by killing them. So Maitreya is explaining further to Vidura that the sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of the welfare of the people in general. In this, Prabhupada mentions Lokanam Kshema Darshina. Kshema Darshina. Darshina means something which everyone is looking is Loka Kshema. Loka Kshema. Hmm? And lokanam kshemadharshana goptair asati vai nrunam. So, in fact, all the citizens, when they are happy, that is what is needed. So, the great sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of how to elevate all people of the universe to the spiritual platform. So, what is Kshema is not just how the society is managing the economic condition, political condition, or what do you call commerce, yeah. Sorry. No, it is more about how everyone is brought to the spiritual platform. After disappearance of Anga, there was no one to follow the instructions of the great sages, and because of that, all the citizens became unruly. There is no one, so much so that they could be compared to animals, which means the culture is gone. There is no more varnas, even shudras, yeah, below shudras. Everyone became like that, having no knowledge of ultimate goal of life. Such persons whimsically enact laws without knowledge of life's purpose. So this was a kind of yeah, mini Kali Yuga during that time. Yeah. Now we are able to very much understand what it is, where there is no proper law and order because there is no proper varnashrama system. And then, so it is already known that Vena was very severe and cruel. Therefore, as soon as all the thieves and rogues in the state heard of him becoming the king, they became very much afraid. One way we may think, hey, why not? Yeah, when he is such a hopeless ruler, the thieves can be very happy. No, the thieves and rogues are more worried because when king himself will start stealing, robbing, and he will be so much ambitious in that. So the thieves and rogues were worried, oh, what will happen to us? So they may get punishment. So it is said, when the government is very weak, rogues and thieves flourish. Similarly, when the government is very strong, all the thieves and rogues disappear or hide themselves. Of course, Vena was not a very good king, but he was known to be cruel and severe. Thus, the state at least became freed from thieves and rogues. One good thing. So going further, then there is also explanation that when the king ascended, he became all powerful with eight opulences. It is mentioned, ashta vibhuti bihi, eight opulences. The king is supposed to possess eight kinds of opulences. Um, Ashta Siddhi. Yeah, we know Hanumanji in Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi ke Data in that. But the dint of mystic yoga, yogic practice, king generally acquires eight opulences. These kings were called Rajarshis, king who were also great sages. By practicing mystic yoga, a Rajarshi could become smaller than smallest, bigger than greater than greatest, and in this way there are these eight siddhis one can attain. So these were some of the opulences of king, and King Vena, however, was not practiced in yoga, but he became proud of his royal position nonetheless. He was thinking, hey, I am having everything, it means I can do anything, as I wanted. So that's why he began to misuse his power and insult great personalities. So going, I mean, to speed up a bit, so here we can see all the Brahmanas were forbidden henceforth to perform any sacrifice. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, what was committed by King Vena many years ago is at present being carried out by atheistic government all over the world. That's why I was saying a mini Kali Yuga was seen maybe at that time, but here we can see full-fledged the true nature of Kali Yuga here. The world situation is so tense that at any moment governments may issue declarations to stop religious rituals. Communistic ideologies can take over, and then a parts of even in India there is communism sometimes which dominates, and they don't have any care, any value for religious practices. They are so much opposing that they don't support any. For example, when Mayapur construction was going on, the temple, and when Prabhupada acquired land, it was not easy. There were so many dacoits, there were so many rogues who were troubling, who were big threat. At that time, government also didn't support being communistic. Anyway, so even now, we may see that this temple for Vedic planetarium is built, but it's not so easy. It was not at all, and it's yeah, the government is not as supportive as it should be. And therefore all the sages assembled together and they were thinking, let us do something so that this the great sages began to consult one another on how to get out of dangerous atmosphere created by Vena. And they thought, okay, let's understand the situation of people is so pathetic, it's like ant. Is it said the example is ants, right? The ants in the middle are in very dangerous situation. In a wooden bamboo, if there is an ant, and if the fire is on the both sides, ant cannot go left or front or back. So the situation of the citizens were that the thieves and rogues were harming, and also the king. Hmm. So, thinking to save from irregularity, the sages began to consider that it was due to political crisis this is happening. Under such circumstances, how could the people be happy? So we need to do something. So the sages then they thought, okay, uh, because he was born from Sunita, uh, and yeah, might be his nature is mischievous, he may be bad. Supporting this mischievous king is exactly like maintaining a snake with milk. Sometimes we have to be, yeah, I think I was mentioning to someone today is that sometimes we may take a passive stance in our dealings. Here we can see the sages are saying, "Oh, if we are silent, and if king is continuing to do things like this, then supporting this mischievous king is exactly like maintaining a snake with milk." Snake, yeah, we may think, oh, I'm giving, I'm giving support, or maybe I'm thinking, okay, I'm not even giving support, but if we are on the side, what is happening is now he has become a source of all difficulties, and this also means that I indirectly am source of difficulty for everyone. So when this is also can be seen when there is a crisis, when there is a need of correction. In fact, in the Mahabharata, we can see that Krishna didn't tolerate the people who are on the side of adharma, whether actively or passively. If someone, yeah, when we can see, for example, Karna, we can see, when we can see also Bhishma Dev, yeah, Lord always wants to re-establish dharma, and for that, yeah, here the sages are thinking that if we don't speak, if we don't correct Vena, then whatever he is doing, because we didn't object, because we didn't raise our voice, because we didn't um, made our hands dirty by getting into solving this, what do you call kichad in English? Puddle, right? Mud. So they say, hey, we don't want to, we may become part of the problem. And in here, the example given, a serpent who is maintained with milk and bananas simply stores poison in his teeth and awaits the day to bite his master. We may think that I will not be affected. I am okay. Let the thing go on, because what can I do? What will happen to me? Maybe if I get involved, I am going to create problem. Let me be away. Hmm? Here, what is happening is that uh, in the end, the snake bites the master. So, with that, yeah, of course, the sages, yeah, out of good cause, they said, okay, we appointed this king. That is another big problem. We appointed this king Vena of the state in order to give protection to citizens, but he inspired his trouble to them. Despite all these discrepancies, we should at once try to pacify him. By doing so, we may not be touched by the sinful results caused by him. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions that saintly sages elected King Vena to become king, but he proved to be mischievous. Sometimes this may happen, that a leader is elected and seems, yeah, okay, maybe the leader has given a lot of false promises, yeah, for the nation, for the state, or whatever, to whatever capacity he is, and then it appears that finally he proves to be mischievous, like the king. Therefore the sages were very much afraid of incurring sinful reaction. Sometimes we are scared, okay, should we vote to a party A or B or C? Hmm? Which party? Neither of the parties can, if they are not supporting spiritual advancement, then whatever they are committing, we are part of that. The law of karma prohibits a person even to associate with a mischievous individual. By electing Vena to the throne, the saintly sages certainly associated with him. See? The it's always nice to take shelter of Bhagavatam. Yeah, why? Because these teachings, yeah, in our practical life, we are stuck. We can learn from here. Ultimately, King Vena became so mischievous that the saintly sages actually became afraid of becoming contaminated by his activities. Thus, before taking any action against him, the sages tried to pacify and correct him so that he might turn from his mischief. So, with that, the saintly kings continued thinking, oh, of course, we were completely aware of his mischievous nature, yet we nevertheless enthroned Vena. If we cannot persuade king to accept our advice, he will be condemned by the public and we will join them. So, in one way or the other, let's try. Thus, by our prowess, we shall burn him to ashes. So, if the king doesn't listen to us, let's join the public. There are so many voices. Let's join the public so that through their strength we can at least change. In the purport Prabhupada is mentioning. Now, saintly persons have no such power due to influence of age of Kali. Indeed, the Brahmanas do not even have the power to perform sacrifices in which animals are put into a fire to attain new life. Hmm? Under these circumstances, instead of actively taking part in politics, saintly persons should engage in chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. By the grace of Lord Chaitanya, by simply chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the general populace can derive all benefits without political implications. Uh, so they went to the king and they said, "Oh dear king, we have come to you to give you good advice. Kindly hear us with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life, your opulence, your strength, reputation, all will increase." So, in this way, they were encouraging him, at least here, before object. Those who live according to religious principles and who follow them by word, mind, body, BMW, and intelligence are elevated to the heavenly kingdom, which is devoid of all miseries. Being thus rid of material nature, they achieve unlimited happiness. So what you have to do? For this reason, you should not be cause of spoiling the spiritual life of general public. If their spiritual life is spoiled, you will certainly fall down from your opulence. Hmm. So saying so, and in purport 17 is very nice. He says, this, the king protects the citizens from the disturbances of mischievous ministers as well as from thieves and rogues. Thus, a pious king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. So, here the sages are saying, hey, if you follow religion, you will be successful in this life, and also, yeah, you will enjoy life after death. Mm. This goes further. Yasya Rashtre Pure Chaiva is saying where the king is supposed to be pious, in whose state and cities the general populace strictly observe the eight social orders of Varna and Ashrama. And the purport is longer. It is highlighting the importance of varnashrama system, where brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, as well as brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas, when these all eight forms of the society limbs are properly followed, they complacently feel that the state is secular. Hmm. In such a government, no one can be happy. The people must follow Varnashrama Dharma, and the king must see that they are following it nicely. In fact, there is a word that's used, Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavanaha. It is said, here they are telling to the king, if the king sees that the Supreme Lord, the cause of cosmic manifestation, and the super soul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. So the sages are telling the most important principle to keep the Lord in the center. To by following the dharma, everyone will be happy. You will enjoy all this. Tasmin. Then when the Supreme Lord is worshipped by the great demigods, then he will be Lord will be satisfied. For this reason, all the demigods, they will also come, because when the Lord is satisfied, the demigods satisfied. When they are satisfied, you get all the results. The state should also see that the people are engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the primary duty of the state. The Krishna consciousness movement was started to convince the general populace to adopt the best process by which to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus solve all problems. So saying so, when yeah, they were telling that, do not stop sacrificial performance. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. Now King Vena is saying, hey, what are you guys doing? You are not at all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and accepting to be as religious. What is King Vena is saying is, have you not read scriptures well? In the scriptures, it is said that king is the representative of the Supreme Lord. All facilities, all the pleasures are meant for him. And I think you are very jealous of my position. And because I am enjoying by my right, I should enjoy, but I think you're feeling very disturbed. So if you have so much jealous, then it is said, I think you are giving up your real husband. I am your real husband. You have to maintain me, uh, because I maintain you. And instead of that, you are searching after some paramour to worship. Uh, those who are out of gross ignorance do not worship the king, who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Huh? What do they do? Experience neither happiness in this world nor in the world after death. So, saying so, King Vena is actually thinking that he is correcting the sages. Hmm. We will continue the next part next week. But yeah, here we can see how everyone thinks that he is right. Here, King Vena is thinking, I am right. The sages are thinking they are right. Now, who is right here? Hmm? One who is supported by the spiritual knowledge, one who is on the path of spiritual journey, which means one who is accepting the Supreme Lord all in all. Here, the sages, it is said, Dvija. What is the interest of them? Lokanam. Hmm? Lokanam darshanaha. What is that? I forgot the word. Kshema darshanaha. Yeah. Whereas king is not interested in the welfare of the people, king is only interested in the welfare of his own self. So that way we can understand who is a real well-wisher and who really deserves all the pleasures and opulences. Okay, I'll stop here for today. Any thoughts or questions? Okay. If not, then we see us tomorrow in our Bhagavatam. We are in the sixth canto. We're getting closer. I think we were discussing about Vritrasura, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Please do join 7:30 morning. Hare Krishna. Till then.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.